Saturday night's main event returns this Saturday on NBC. Jared and I are going to run through the card here real quick, give you some quick predictions, give you some quick thoughts. Jared, the match that was made on Monday Night Raw tonight, Rhea Ripley versus Nia Jax for the Women's World Championship. Of course, Nia Jax popping in on Monday Night Raw as part of the transfer window, so she may not be a permanent stay. But honestly, the work that Nia Jax has done this past year, being the women's champion over on SmackDown, I'm fine with this match against Rhea. You pit these two against each other for a special like that to be able to showcase them both. I got no problem with it. I think it's great. Rhea wasn't on the last Saturday night's main event. Find a way to get her on this one. I'm cool with it.
Yeah, man. Rhea and Nia, we've seen it before, but they always bring these big power moves that are just very entertaining to watch. I mean, you get to see Rhea pick up Nia and do crazy stuff, and then Nia can still, toss Rhea around like a rag doll. So it's always very interesting to watch.
All right, if you have to make a prediction for this match, who comes out on top? Rhea retain, Nia win the championship? What you got?
I'm going Rhea retains.
I think I will go the same. It's awesome, man. Saturday night's main event. It's cool for us to be able to look back and to see this old school thing come to life again. It's not a premium live event, but it is a network special, cable special, whatever you want to call it. So these big time matches, another one that we're going to see is really the first showcase in a singles match on a big stage for Jacob Fatu, and he's going to take on the monster of all monsters, Braun Strowman. Before we get a prediction on this match, Jared, Braun Strowman's incredibly athletic. We know that. And Jacob Fatu is just a freak in the ring. That springboard moonsault that he does is just wild. But Jared, over the last couple of weeks, we've seen the promo skills of Jacob Fatu really come to life. This dude, Jared, is a superstar in the making.
100%, man. If I was ever going to have to bet the house that some superstar was absolutely going to break through that glass ceiling or whatever you want to call it, it's going to be this guy, man. I mean, like you said, his promo skills are pretty daggone good, and his in-ring skill and his persona are off the charts.
Yeah, they really are. Before we make a prediction on this match, let's look back at Friday Night SmackDown this past week, because a really interesting thing happened. We saw Solo Sikoa return for the first time since the Tribal Combat match with Roman Reigns. Jacob Fatu came out and they jumped Jimmy Uso. That's what it was. He and Tama Tonga, and then Solo comes out, and Solo can't speak because the crowd is just booing him. They are just, the boo birds are out. Well, Solo just up and leaves. And Jacob looks confused, let down by Solo. I don't know exactly, what that might be. But then Jacob cuts his passionate promo that we're talking about. And it just makes you think, Jared, that I don't know if they're phasing Solo out. I don't know if we're looking at Jacob versus Solo soon. Obviously, Jared, the dream match that we're looking at is Jacob versus Roman Reigns. But how do you get there? Maybe this is a stepping stone to get there. Maybe Jacob turns on Solo and Roman makes the save to turn Solo babyface or what have you, because it's going to be really difficult to turn him babyface. I don't know, man. Where do you kind of see this going?
I definitely think that they're pushing towards Jacob being the new leader of whatever this group becomes, this other bloodline. And yeah, man, I think they're going to have to do him against Solo and have Jacob go over. And then I don't know what you do with Solo after that, but I definitely think that's where they're heading with Jacob.
Yeah, it'll be interesting, because if you listen to Paul Heyman, and every time he talked to Solo, when he brought in the Tongans and when he brought in Jacob, he told him, it's like, you can't control these guys. They're unpredictable. They're dangerous. They've put that over on commentary that these guys aren't fit to be, in the building or, what have you. So we could see this bloodline thing, Jared, take a drastic turn to what it sort of started out as after WrestleMania, and then it sort of fizzled off. And now we could see that dangerous side of them come back up, depending on if Jacob is the so-called leader.
I think so. I think that's exactly where you go, is that you show that barbaric side of these three guys that Solo brought in, and they're not loyal to Solo anymore because he no longer, wears the Oofa Loofah. So, I mean, where the Oofa Loofah goes, that's where the power goes.
All right. I just need to you just need to come up with a new name for it. You need to come up with a new name for it every week and just see how ridiculous you can make it. It reminds me of Bobby Heenan. That being said, speaking of power, this match is going to be full of it. Jacob Fatu versus Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman is no slouch, former Universal Champion, but man, I'm taking Jacob Fatu in this one-on-one match. What do you think?
Oh, yeah. I think he has to go over, especially just like you said, because it's his first big match. I mean, Can't have him lose.
All right, another match for another strap. This one for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker is going to defend against the Celtic Warrior Sheamus. Should be a very hard-hitting match. Could possibly steal the show. I don't know, Jared. I'm really hesitant on this match because I feel like we need something new for Braun Breaker. I feel like we've seen this ad nauseum because if you look at this match, Ludwig Kaiser is left out of this match. He's probably going to come and interfere, and it's going to be the same people over and over. I'm not sold on this one.
Yeah. I mean, Sheamus has always talked about the Intercontinental title being the one that has eluded him. And so, I mean, maybe this is the time that he finally captures that title.
You think so? Is that your prediction?
It is not my prediction. I'm going to Braun Breaker, but I'm just saying it could be, okay?
It could be, but you're picking the champ. What's the percentage that you're putting on it?
I would go 75-25 that for Breaker.
Yeah, I might go 85-15, honestly. I don't see it happening for Sheamus. I think they've beat this. They're beating a dead horse at this point with Sheamus that being the Intercontinental title, the one that he's chasing, like you just said. I don't see it happening, and I'm tired of seeing it happen. Let's just do something different. Oh man. All right. Couple other matches to get to. Actually, one more match and then one segment to get to. This one is for the World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther defending against Jey Uso. Man, lots of different avenues that we can attack this. First, I want to ask about Gunther's world title reign. Lots of people online are talking about how it doesn't feel as important as his Intercontinental title reign. A 600-day Intercontinental title reign. He brought the title back to prominence, yada, yada, yada. Well, now he's the World Heavyweight Champion. He's supposedly the face of the show, and a lot of people are let down by it. What say you?
I think that, I agree. Gunther's Intercontinental title run, it just seemed, I don't know, it did seem important. Whereas so far, his run with the world title, it just doesn't. And it's exactly what you said. I can't explain it. But, that's just kind of how it seems.
It's not that he's not had good matches. Dude has a great match every time he steps through the ropes. I don't know, man. I feel like the same people online who are complaining about Gunther's title reign are the same people that complained about Cody Rhodes' title reign. We wanted it for so long. This has got to be the man. He's the next one up. He's the one that's got to be world champion. Then you get it, and it's like, okay, now what?
Right.
We're just not satisfied. Fickle, I tell you, they're fickle. That being said, let's look at the other side. Let's look at Jey Uso. Has had an incredible 2024, huge rise to single success. We saw him capture the Intercontinental title for a cup of coffee, and now he's going after the World Heavyweight Championship. Very slim that he could get this one done, but Jared, let's say he does win it. What would a Jey Uso world title reign, especially heading into the Rumble and WrestleMania season, what could that possibly look like?
So he's actually going to, I think I'm going Jey Uso, man. I just think that they keep talking so much about how that Jey can't get it done. And he's acknowledged, yeah, man, this is true. I haven't been able to. And I just almost can't envision that they would let Jey Uso lose. I think if you let him win, then, I mean, you could set this up as him against Jacob Fatu. If Jacob kind of takes over the reins and becomes the leader of this new bloodline, have him go up against Jey, man. I mean, that's a pretty good story right there to me.
I'll pose one better for you. I don't want to say one better. I just mean a one up. What if we've been talking for 4 years now about what's the real end to the bloodline story? And for the longest time, we all said the story was centered around Jey Uso. So what if Jey Uso beats Gunther and it's Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship? And I say that because that easily transitions Roman over to Raw on Netflix. You don't have to worry about a Cody Rhodes situation. You immediately now get Roman on Raw, Punk on Raw, that favor that Paul Heyman owes Punk. It's not hard to put that one together. It's possible.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would say that's probably that would work out better, actually. And maybe that could finally put this bloodline thing to bed. I mean, that's how this story ends. It could either, or you could set up for its actual ending down the road whenever that Jey Uso takes it back from Roman.
Yeah.
Because let's say Roman wins, he goes right back, or he doesn't even have to go right back. He just keeps acting the way he's always acted.
Yeah.
And you finally have the one to shut him up in the end be Jey Uso.
Yeah. I think there's lots of ways you can go with it. You can even have Jey Uso, you have him win the title, and then next month you put the title up in the Elimination Chamber match and he loses it there. Or let's play this scenario, Jared. What if Jey Uso wins? We're a week out from the Royal Rumble. Who's to say Gunther loses the World Heavyweight Championship and he turns around the next weekend and wins the Royal Rumble and faces Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania? Who's to say that's not going to happen?
I mean, that would be the way to kind of make Gunther's title reign seem significant, is to give him the big one.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I mean, that would accomplish all kinds of goals that I think they're working toward. Now, just like whenever you listen to Sam Roberts, you'll listen to him and he maps this whole thing out and it sounds beautiful. And you're like, there's no way this can't happen now. And then it never happens. So do I actually think all this is going to happen? But it would be a beautiful story if it did.
That's why we fantasy book on this show. All right. So you're going Jey Uso in the match.
Yes, sir.
Oh, I just think there are more. I'm going Jey Uso as well. I think the potential matchups down the road, some fresh blood as far as a champ goes on Raw, I think is much needed. All right, let's get to the segment that is going to happen on Saturday night's main event, and that is the contract signing between Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens for the ladder match at the Royal Rumble, moderated by the Heartbreak Kid Shawn Michaels. Now, Jared, as Nick Aldis and the commentators just continually stressed on SmackDown, there's an addendum to this contract that these guys have to sign. What in the world, if you have to put your booking hat on, what is the addendum to this contract that has to be signed that made Cody Rhodes look at it and say, I'm not signing it unless Kevin signs it? And then Kevin looks at it and says, why didn't Cody sign? Well, if he's not signing, like, what in the world, if you're putting your booking hat on, what could this addendum be?
Are both of these guys currently on SmackDown?
Yes.
Loser leaves SmackDown.
Okay.
I think that's probably the easiest and laziest way to go. That if they were just sitting there trying to think of something to come up with, that would be the first thing that came to my mind.
The first thing I thought of was banning the package pile driver from the match. Even though there's no rules, Nick Aldis could say, hey, but you're not allowed to use this move, or, you get disqualified or what have you. But I like your loser leaves SmackDown thing. That's interesting because we briefly mentioned the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn interaction earlier. That's an easy way for Kevin to move over to Raw, and you've got Kevin and Sami naturally already there. You've got Kevin Owens in this bloodline situation. Let's go back to Jey Uso wins the World Heavyweight Championship. Kevin Owens comes over, takes the belt from him, and boom, Kevin Owens is actually a world champion. So that's possible. Let me paint this scenario for you. I mentioned it in the YouTube description that I'm going to make a bold prediction, and I'm going to make it right now.
Uh-oh.
What if we get this contract signing, right? Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes, Shawn Michaels. What if Kevin Owens frustrates Shawn Michaels so bad that Shawn tries to super kick Kevin, misses, and hits Cody? Okay. And that gives the opening because Cody's laid out. Cody can't help Shawn now. KO jumps Shawn. Shawn gets a package pile driver in San Antonio, lays him out. Okay. And it sets up Kevin Owens versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania.
I mean, that would be a beautiful story.
Bro, could you imagine the dude that everybody said could never make it in WWE main eventing WrestleMania against Steve Austin and then Shawn Michaels?
I mean, are you predicting this? Like, you actually think this is going to happen, or what?
The match might be a little far-fetched. But Shawn getting a package pile driver, I'm predicting that's going to happen.
I mean, Shawn's got to be there for some reason. So, I mean, it could simply be just to get more heat on KO. Again, that's kind of the easiest way to go. But he's there for some reason. Something's going down.
It's not just that it's in San Antonio and they're putting Shawn on it. He's there for a reason.